Imagine a life when you had to walk several kilometers to find a book. Just imagine the age we are in right now. You just have information all over the place. With more resources come more problems. Nothing can teach you more than what you practice. Our brains are not here to store all the information. We need our brains to process the information. It's not like every single point in the article makes sense to you. We all know that exams are failing us. Most of the well-known people we know, like for example, Steve Jobs, Nikola Tesla, all these people were self-learners. We have everything available to us, and it's on us to make sure we master this act of self-learning. Again, what exactly do we mean by self-learning? And what are some tips and techniques you can actually use to master your self-learning? That's exactly what we're going to discuss in today's video. Without any further ado, let's get into it. Hello everyone, this is Kapil Reddy, founder and CEO of Zooperly. Today we are going to talk about the topic self-learning, which I just described. Like before even jumping into it, what exactly is self-learning? Self-learning is nothing but whatever you learn just out of your curiosity, where it's not bound by a curriculum or you don't have examinations to prove what you have learned or to validate what you have learned. This is all something which happens out of your curiosity. Let's say, for example, now there are a lot of trending topics, be it Web3, blockchain, or decentralized networks, so many things. So if you're genuinely curious about something, no matter whether you're an engineer or a doctor or a chartered accountant, whatever it is, if you're curious about Web3, you can start mastering it. And that is nothing but self-learning. Having said that, with more resources come more problems. The problem we have right now is there is an abundance of information available. There is literally like we are flooded with information. Again, I'll come back to my favorite term, which is we are drowning in this flood of information overload. And it's on us to make sure we separate the signal from noise. And how do we do it? That's exactly what we'll discuss. See, self-learning is again something which you can take complete control for your own self. Let's say you can pace out your time. You can give dedicated time to it. Again, in learning, always remember about compounding. Just let's say if you're too busy, put aside 30 minutes for your learning and do it consistently. The power of consistency is something which you'll experience at a later stage. But in this way, let's say every day if you're starting to learn for 30 minutes, over a period, you'll 100% master it. And that's the power of self-learning, because you're not bound by some deadlines or you don't have exams. Again, we all know that exams are failing us. A lot of people just mug up for exams and then that's it, it's gone. They're not able to retain what they've learned, and that's a big problem. But with self-learning, with some basic techniques, you can actually retain your learnings for a longer time. So the first tip I would say is, first, try to learn from credible resources. This is where the power of curation comes in. And given all the social networks we have and so many other platforms mushrooming, always try and pick resources from people who have suggested them. Try to pick up those resources which they are curating for you or some of their recommendations. And another easiest way to get curated resources is by taking part in blog posts or communities or forums. All these places are very, very useful for you to get curated and recommended lists. Because again, as I told, for us, time is the most important thing. In order to save your time in not reading everything that comes your way, you need to have curated set of resources. You need people who can recommend you the right resources. And trust me, it's a big world out there. Now more than ever, thanks to the digital revolution, world is a connected place now. So you can always find credible and recommended resources from the right people if you put in some effort. Of course, we will make that effort much more easy with Zooperly going forward. Second tip is apply what you've learned. This is something I think we've all heard for a long time, right? If you just learn something and leave it at it, that's it. I think you're going to lose it. But let's say you've learned something. Maybe, for example, you've learned designing. Just try and do a basic design. Don't think about mastering it. Just try and do a basic design. That's what you need. And once you start doing it consistently, you'll master the skill at one point. Same way, let's say you are new to coding, for example, or you want to learn front end or back end or be it anything. Just try and apply it immediately. Don't just delay that, so that you can retain whatever you've learned in a much more impactful way. And nothing can teach you more than what you practice. And that's what we're urging you to do. So that's one easy and most effective technique to actually do. Again, if you think you're not able to do just by yourself, always try and pick a companion and try doing it together. Let's say you find like-minded people who's probably getting into blockchain or Web3 or even development. Try and talk to them, understand the goals, and once you see a match, try doing it together and you'll see a significant spike in your result. So another thing is reading. As I told, extensive reading will actually help. Having said that, we all do things which are not super impactful. Like for example, we read, but where is it going into? Trust me, like our brains are not here to store all the information. We need our brains to process the information. So always try and note down something. Let's say you learned something, make a quick note of it and summarize what you've learned so that it's all stored in one place. And whenever you want to get back to the topic, just go and pick those summaries. That is something which will 100% help you so that you don't have to again reread everything. Because all that effort in rereading the same article is a time waste. Zooperly is just exactly trying to solve this, where we will help you with your learning retention. And most importantly, whenever you learn something, we make it super simple for you to take relevant notes on it so that you don't have to revisit the article and read it entirely. Because we all know that, right? Let's say you read a big lengthy article. It's not like every single point in the article makes sense to you. Maybe there are bits and pieces which you wish to retain it for a longer time. So just try and note it down, summarize it, or just copy paste, whatever you want to do. And then always revisit that so that you can hone your skills or revise your skills. And that's a very, very effective way. The whole idea of self-learning is, as I told, try to separate the signal from noise. As I told, there are a lot of information. But if you try and grab everything that comes your way, you're just wasting your time and it's not going to be useful. So you need to bring a structure to your learning. That's exactly what Zooperly will help you with. You focus on learning, we'll take care of the rest. And that's our simple promise. And given the technological advancements we're going through, whatever you learn in school or college is no longer sufficient. You need to keep mastering or honing your skills, or you need to pick up new skills in order to grow in your life or your career. And that's what we want to help you with. That's our only outcome. We want you to learn with better outcomes. Do not learn for the sake of learning it. Learn with impact. Bring that structure back to learning. That's what Zooperly can 100% help you with. I know like I'm talking too much about Zooperly, but that's why I'm very excited, right? Like we want you to get into that habit of learning and experience the power of compounding when it comes to your learning eventually. So our entire thought process, we just don't want everything to be a dump of resources, which is what unfortunately is happening right now. We just want you to take action on those dump of resources so that they're just not lying as a dump, but you can actually get something out of it. That's what Zooperly is aiming for. So just to conclude, as I told, self-mastery or self-learning is something which you're picking it out of your curiosity or out of a need or necessity you have. Let's say, for example, you want a career progression, you want to pick a new skill or whatever it can be, or you're going to a new place or you want to learn a new language. Whatever it can be, all this comes under self-learning, and with some basic tips and some basic discipline, you can 100% master it. And again, I'll tell you, that's what Zooperly is helping you with. Our focus is all about learning retention. Master everyday learnings so that you can carry them for lifelong. As usual, I hope you all like the video. Whatever it is, give us your feedback. We always would love to hear your feedback and keep improvising like how we did for our product. We also want to do it for our YouTube videos as well. So please like, subscribe, and comment on this video. And do let us know if you want to learn about any other topics. Until next time, have a great week. See you all. Bye-bye.